Hey everybody, it's Derek here. Thanks as always for stopping by. It's February 25th today, so we're still in Black History Month, and I was chomping at the bit to talk to you guys about this book. All right, guys, this one got 5 stars out of me, and a full 5 stars. I would have given it 6 stars out of 5 if I could. It's called Transcendent Kingdom. It was written by Yaa Gyasi. It's a novel. And it actually takes place in the hometown where she grew up. She was born in Ghana, but she was raised in Huntsville, Alabama, which is where the story is based out of. Her debut novel, Homegoing, won her the National Book Critics Circle John Leonard Award for Best First Book, the Penn Hemingway Award for a First Book of Fiction, the National Book Foundation's 5 Under 35 honors for 2016, and the American Book Award. She lives in Brooklyn, and she's really, really an impressive author. There's so many things that are flooding to my mind that I want to tell you about this book. Why I felt a special resonance with this book is it seems like she grapples with a lot of the same questions and even similar elements in her upbringing, or at least the main character, Gifty, as I was raised with. So, as if you're familiar with me, I was raised in a fundamentalist religion, a Christian faith, and she was raised, I think, as an evangelical or one of those southern, Pentecostal or Baptist. They all kind of blend together. Pardon me. No, she was raised in the South. So she had a very strong religious upbringing. And okay, so let's focus on the racial parts first. This is not so much where I relate, but it feeds into the whole religion thing. The main character, Gifty, was raised in a very fundamentalist church. Her mother was extremely religious, and she has a lot of mental illness in the family. Her mother is dealing with depression. Her brother has an addiction to OxyContin from an injury that he sustains while he's in sports. I don't want to spoil the book too much for you, but her father abandons the family because of prejudice that he feels at the church and in society at large. And they came from Ghana, so he's got a lot of this atavism and homesickness that he deals with. And so Gifty is contending with all these racial problems that are going on, and poverty and the whole 9 yards. And then she's also going to school. I think she's been to school for like 6 years. She's also doing some doctoral work on mice, kind of studying the pleasure reward circuitry in the brain, mainly because addiction is a strong theme throughout her family. And so this is where I thought she was very clever, though, how she tied it into the whole religious part. Is it brings up, obviously, the mind-body problem, right? Are we really as predetermined as mice? So she explains all these sort of experiments that we've heard before, where you can get them addicted to basically whatever in spacing out how you feed them. And then some don't get addicted at all, and so she's kind of likening this to humans. Like, why is it that some of us have a propensity to get addicted? And she shows, because it would take me a while for me to explain the whole mind-body problem. She does a really good job of explaining scientifically, like what is actually going on there, and how we can glean a lot of insight into human nature and the mind-body problem in particular by looking at reward circuitry, neurotransmitters, and the whole 9 yards. We can glean a lot of insight by looking at that, but it still doesn't explain who's the rider of the elephant, who's really in charge. Do we have some sort of soul? Is there something epiphenomenal, maybe not soul related, but more than the sum of its parts, if you will, that the brain gives us access to, or the activity in the brain gives us access to. And so she's going through all of this, and of course she's resistant to the narrative that is dominant in academia, that, you're just nothing but a meat robot, basically. This kind of facile materialism, that she is right. It does dominate the academic world. And I've commented on that myself. And it leaves a whole lot out. That's the problem with it. And so she's trying to retain what baby there is in the bathwater of religious nonsense, pardon me, because she obviously has to dispense with a lot of it. But still, like, for example, it shows at the end that she still lights a couple of candles every time she goes to church. You can tell that the church and her faith and, what it's meant for her family, it still means something to her. And she can't articulate it exactly, and yet she doesn't subscribe to the nonsense in religion. But, there's a whole lot of, like, trying to grapple with your humanity while still going where the science leads you and not 1 inch further. So I really liked that, that you've got how all of these issues are intersectional with one another, with race and with addiction and with religion. And she has some really good lines in here that resonated with me and my upbringing. I think she's been in exactly the same headspace that I had gone through. So I was not expecting, based on the cover, to relate to this book the way I did. So if you get an opportunity to read this book, I would highly recommend it. There have been some books that I've rated 5 stars this month through Black History Month, but this is, I don't want to say it's the best because I keep saying that. There have been many 5 stars that I've read, but this stands out. I was really happy I read this, and I'd highly recommend it to you guys. It's not a difficult read either. She, approaches very scientific topics without it being inaccessible. What are we looking at? I think it's like 200. Okay, there we go. It's like 200, between 260 and 270 pages, something like that. And there's a lot of dialogue, and the print isn't especially fine. So, it's still, if you're not interested so much in those themes, it still stands as a really good novel. So definitely read that, guys, if you can. Let me know in the comments if you guys have read it or if I've convinced you to. If you have any thoughts on it, I would love to hear them. And of course, if you have any questions for me about it. And with that, I guess we'll see you in the next one. Thanks as always for stopping by. Hey everyone, I hope you liked this video. If you want more like the one you just watched, click the suggested video on this screen. Make sure you subscribe, and to connect with me on my other platforms, my handles are linked below in the description, alright? Take care, peeps. Till next time.